Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. From modern-day films like The Nightmare Before Christmas to classic tales like Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, there is a long history of telling ghost stories during the holiday season. Here to share more, we welcome back psychic therapist, spiritual teacher, and author of The Secret That's Holding You Back, our friend Vincent Genna. Sorry to interrupt. Are you busy?
No, Hannah. I got so involved in A Christmas Carol, which is my favorite book at this time of the year, which is my favorite time of the year. How are you, hon? Good to see you.
I'm so good. I'm so happy to see you. So what is the deal with this ghost story stuff at the holidays? Does it become more common this time of year?
Oh, totally. Let me tell you something about humans and adults in particular. They get complete joy out of scaring the bejesus out of their children. You know what I mean? This is like when they're little toddlers, even when they're infants and they're sitting on the floor, daddy is always creeping up behind them and going, boo. So that tradition held true for centuries and centuries ago. They've been telling ghost stories around campfires since the beginning of campfires. And the Boy Scouts, they did it all there all the time. And so especially at Christmas time, there were wonderful stories. Not only did Charles Dickens come out with A Christmas Carol that gave permission to everybody else to come out with all their different ghost stories at Christmas time, there was actually stories before Charles Dickens that instituted these ghosts around Christmas time. But it's always, think about this. What do we keep talking about? The spirit of Christmas, the joy of Christmas. So those spirits are very joyous, especially the ones from Charles Dickens. They weren't really scary, except the one of the future. Man, he scares me too. Every time I see him, I still shiver. They were guides. They were angels that came to Scrooge at that time. But of course, we tried to make them into more ghosts so that it was. I've seen every single Charles Dickens story of A Christmas Carol in a movie, black and white, all the way until now, because they've been so fantastic. And they were always moralistic. What was that story about? Changing the creepiest of men, the nastiest, most miserly of people into this wonderful, loving character. And that's what Charles Dickens was really shooting for, because he wrote this during a time of poverty in the time of England. Back in those days, there was a lot of poverty going on. And so it was always moralistic. And don't we get that now, even angels coming down now to try to make things and give us hope, especially at this time of the year, the most peaceful, joyful time of year? Don't you see that all the time?
Of course. Well, and I want to ask you about the winter solstice, too. Does that have a connection with spiritual activity? Because we're coming up on that.
Well, it actually has to do more with the alignment of the planets, which is really interesting. The story of the Nativity was when every single planet in our solar system was aligned. That's what the star was, and that's when the birth was. Now, of course, that was all different times of the year, but the Gregorian calendar always said, December 24th to December 25th, and that was Christmas. That's when he was born, right around that in a midnight time period. But it was always to do with the heavens and the alignment. So, of course, the winter solstice all happens around the same time period, Hannah.
That's so interesting. Now, what about if folks are maybe wanting to be more open to getting any messages or spiritual activity this time of year? What are some things that we can do to kind of prepare ourselves for that?
Listen. First, put yourself in a peaceful frame of mind. That's what the energy is right now. And all you have to do is just open yourself up to hearing the guidance and hearing the beauty that is around us and the love that is being shared with us at this time. You can hear those messages. You can even hear what Christmas present to buy for your spouse if you really listen closely. And so I'm telling you, it's all there, but we have to train ourselves to open up that inner channel and listen. Like I've been telling you all year long, right? Always about trusting yourself, believing in yourself, loving yourself, keeping yourself at peace, healing yourself, and listening to that inner voice. And did you know that because this is such a special time of year, that this is the highest day that souls will transition from human state back into their energy state and go to the heavenly dimensions? That's when most people will transition, is during this time of year. I was a hospice social worker and was able to prove that.
Okay, so then should we be prepared for that too? I mean, that seems kind of daunting.
It seems daunting and it seems sad, but think about this. First of all, this is the best time of year because globally, there is always some celebration going on, and it all has to do surrounding some kind of symbolic light that we always spoke about that represents the light within us all. Peace and goodwill always being spread at this time of year with so many different cultures. So the energy level is the highest. Now, as a soul, if you want to transition during the highest energy time, this would be that time. With the thought that, yes, is it sad to lose a loved one? But think about this. At the same time that you may lose a loved one, they're thinking, well, you'll get back into celebrating this time of year, hopefully, and remember me that way. So now you have this celebration and all the peace around you that if you accept that energy, that will cushion any of the grief you wind up feeling. I have more of my clients celebrating with their deceased loved ones at this time of year, and they feel them. They put their decorations back up. They put their train sets back up if they had children that have passed on. And they actually get to feel the energy of that child better than they ever have before. So it's to help cushion that grief at this time. And then birthdays are the next highest time that people transition.
Okay.
So yes, it's always for a reason.
Well, that's a lovely way to put it. Thank you so much. It's always wonderful to see you. Happy holidays.
And happy holidays to all of you, too, and really enjoy and stay warm out there.
Thank you, my friend. Okay, Vincent's book, again, is A Secret That's Holding You Back. We'll have more on KATU.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.